Hey, what is up, everybody?
Hey.
We're back with another Tech Yeah Games podcast.
My favorite time of the week.
It is the best time of the week, for
It's
sure.
fun, right?
Yeah, this is episode number 26.
26.
Yeah,
We're getting up there.
Coming in with the big numbers.
We're getting to that 3.
Did you see the thing on Twitter that was going around today? It was a New York Times or a Wall Street Journal article, and it was talking about it was like this podcast story.
No.
And the story wasn't as bad, but the lead part of the story was this girl. It was like this girl, and she's like, "Yeah, my podcast failed, and we never got any sponsors, and that's supposed to indicate that the market is dead." She made 5 episodes, and I was like,
Were they 5 incredible episodes?
I'm like, I've made like 60 episodes and a YouTube channel. Like, you need to stop. Okay.
That's really funny.
Yeah, you need to stop.
Can't believe I didn't get famous. It's like I was on Twitch and I was looking at just kind of random streamers and still trying to kind of get into Twitch a little bit. And it was fun. You know, it's exactly what you'd expect. The vast majority have 0 views. Yeah. There's a few with like 2. And then everyone else has hundreds. There's no one in between almost.
Yeah.
And it's just, I could see so many people in the modern world just being like, I'm going to become a streamer.
Yeah.
I'll stream a couple hours a week and, in a few weeks I'll be rich. It's just like, man, none of this shit is easy.
No, none of it.
It really is true that if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
It really is that simple. The older I get, the more I realize, like, it's pretty hard to get rich quick unless you're extremely lucky.
Yeah, nothing just happened.
Yeah, it requires a shitload of work and some luck.
Yeah, and, and I think motivation,
and passion, I think.
And passion is, like, such a key part of making those things happen, because it's like, can you keep doing it when no one's interested, right? Because that's the only way you're going to succeed, is if you're willing to do it when nobody cares.
Yeah, and how much harder is that to do if you don't care?
If you don't care, yeah, for sure. Or if you think that somehow you're going to make a bunch of money, right? Like,
yeah, immediately.
But, okay, that's not even about games, but
yeah,
I guess it is.
Twitch is games.
It's game adjacent. Yeah, it's game adjacent.
That's not to discourage people from trying to stream or follow your dream. You absolutely should. Just recognize that it's not easy. And
just recognize that your dream is your own.
Yeah, and it should be fun. Not to say it's not hard work, but it should be something you at least enjoy doing.
Your dream shouldn't be the success. Your dream should be the activity.
Yeah, and well said. Well said, man.
Yeah,
you love dropping those knowledge bombs.
I mean, it's just I just try and look at things in a way that like makes sense to me.
Wow.
All. And also very sad. I don't know if you saw the thing about KyoAni, the anime studio.
Yeah, they were talking about it on NPR this morning.
It breaks my heart. I love their anime.
Yeah,
I love KyoAni. I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but I literally just watched their movies and I was crying. It was on Netflix.
What were some of the movies?
This one was called A Silent Voice. It was about a deaf girl. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast because I was telling people to watch it. But so Silent Voice is really good. It's very sad. It's very powerful. But they make a lot of very popular shows. A lot of shows that I was a big fan of and have been for quite a while.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. But it's just really sad. So my heart goes out to them. I feel definitely like personally connected because I've been such a fan of the things they make.
Yeah.
And so, thoughts and prayers or whatever you're supposed to do in this
best
moment.
of luck to everyone involved.
I mean?
That sucks.
I think my only suggestion in this and the way I want to kind of deal with it is I'm going to watch some more of their stuff.
Yeah.
Go back and rewatch some of the stuff I've seen before. And I think they've got a GoFundMe too. So
yeah, I think supporting their art is probably exactly what they'd like.
Yeah, for sure. But moving on from that, happier. Well, I don't know if these are happier notes. But let's get into what have you been playing this week, Leo?
Oh, this week.
Yeah, this hot week.
Wow.
It has been hot, actually.
Yeah, it has. I actually haven't been playing a lot of different games because I've been real into one particular game called, long-time listeners of the show know what's coming. Resident Evil 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's
Final Fantasy 14.
We talk about it so much.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it for long. But I just want to say,
we should just be a Final Fantasy 14 podcast.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we stop playing and be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, and we're not very good. That's the thing, too.
Exactly.
Like, we're a Final Fantasy 14 podcast. None of us have endgame characters.
We have no insight. We're not particularly talented at it, but we really like it.
And it's real pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Speaking of that, I got something to add on after you.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say real quick, I feel like it's finally starting to click. And I know it's been a long time, but that's how these huge MMOs are. And again, to reiterate, I've never played an MMO. This is my first one that I've really put a lot of time into. And I'm totally, starting to enjoy it and understand like how combat work and roles and all the different elements of it. And B, I'm also starting to understand how people could get really sucked into it.
Yeah, I think the 40s is when I kind of felt that way too. Like I was like, I kind of see like you kind of see how the mechanics are working.
Yeah.
Like the quests kind of spread. It's not as everything's not as on top of you, so you kind of like get a little space, right?
Yeah, and you kind of start to understand how the progression works. So you kind of get a sense of, I'm getting closer to the end or the beginning. Like I don't know, you start to understand the patterns.
And the main story quest becomes much more clear. You're like, this is the progression path, right? Like,
and then I spent some time fishing just to kind of see how that works, and like, it's so pretty and it's so fun. I could see how people get sucked in, and I mean to like a super detrimental level. Like you hear stories about people getting sucked into WoW or whatever, and I could totally see. I don't think I have the personality for that. I'm not worried about it myself, but there's been times where I'm just looking around in the beautiful Eorzea and the sun's cresting over the mountains, and I'm just fishing and there's beautiful music and like the sun's actually rising, and I was thinking to myself like, man, if you had a shitty life and this was just way better, like I could totally see how you just be like, fuck this world. Like I really want to live in there where all your friends are, where it's like super beautiful all the time, where you're really powerful. I know that kind of goes for a lot of games, but there's something about the sense of community where that kind of clicked too, where I totally understood how you could prefer this to real life.
Especially looking back on those like awkward years in school.
That's what I was thinking too, especially in high school,
right?
Or even junior high, or even younger. Like just, yeah, man.
Like I feel like by like the middle of high school, everyone kind of finds their group, even if it's not a cool group.
Yeah.
But those first couple of years when it's just like dealing with bigger kids and you're just like you just feel like such a loser. You know what I mean?
Totally. But in there, you're not.
But in there, you're not. And it's like, it's not ugly and the rules make sense.
Yeah.
And
you're in control.
And you're in control.
And there's goals, clear, definable goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I sometimes I just eavesdrop on the conversations, or not eavesdrop. I'm just reading the conversations people have, and I don't use it socially. I just don't. But it's kind of fun to see like all the friends meet up there, like, hey, what's up? Oh my god, did you hear it? Like it really is a social space in kind of a neat way. And again, I don't play games to be social, so that's kind of a element I haven't really dived into yet. But anyway, the point is, I won't go on about it. It's a very interesting game, and I'm really enjoying sort of my first immersive MMO experience.
Have you ever used Reshade?
No.
So Reshade is like it's like a hook that runs on games that you can change the graphic settings in kind of strange ways, right? And so you can kind of do like mock HDR or change certain values as far as how the graphics are displayed. And so I reshaded out my Final Fantasy XIV this week, and it looks dope as hell, right? A lot of it's for screenshots. You know, sometimes you see those screenshots, and they're just like super like effects laden in a way that seems unplayable but is beautiful.
Yeah, like when you see all the glamour people that like sell their outfits and all the outfit people. I do see those screenshots. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, so I tend to run with just one that's like, it's called, I don't know, Final Fantasy XIV No Washed Out Colors. And it kind of takes that, like, you know how the game all kind of naturally has like this very like bright kind of high contrast, like low contrast, kind of washed out feel to it.
Yeah.
And this kind of makes the blacks,
fantasy feel.
This kind of makes the blacks very black, the colors more vibrant, and
interesting.
Just having it on, like, I think the game looks good regardless.
It does, yeah.
This I feel like is a small change, makes the game look so much better.
Interesting. So Reshade, so it's software?
It's software that kind of hooks in. It's technically a TOS violation.
Oh, it is.
But no one, I mean, a lot of people use it. I don't think it's one of those things that everyone seems okay with. But
is it just something you have open, or does it actually launch with the software?
You run it once and it kind of hooks it, and you never have to run it anymore.
Wow. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
sounds
you should check it out. It looks nice. I mean,
you can do that with other games too.
Yeah, you can run it on anything, but it's kind of, I don't know if it's high resource, but you know, Final Fantasy's old. Like, you don't really have frame rate issues in that game.
Yeah.
Most people disable it in raids and stuff because it's already so crazy. Yeah. But you can just toggle it on and off. It's not like
that is awesome. That's right, Mally. No, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I'm excited. I'll try and check it out, and maybe we could talk about it again next week.
But I've been playing a lot too. I'm finally almost through the Realm Reborn quests. I shouldn't say. I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
The interstitials. I'm over it, but it's okay. It actually, there's these cool like primal fights. Anytime you fight the summons, I'm really into it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think those fights are really cool. And so there's a lot of those in these interstitials, which are really nice. It's just between those, it's a lot of travel to this place you haven't been the whole game.
Yeah.
Find a guy, kill 3 mobs.
Which is that's pretty standard MMO fare, right? I mean,
yeah. It's just there's a lot of the chains are really long for it.
They are.
I think in a lot of MMOs they will have those type of quests, but it won't be this like constant, really long chain of like go here, go here, go here, go here, find a thing, go here, kill a thing, come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're very like 10-part quests that you kill one thing in. That I find a bit unrewarding, but it's funny. My friend keeps like, "Oh, just buy the story skip," and it's like that seems like I'm wasting the whole game if I buy a story skip.
Not to mention,
right?
I know this is a sunk cost fallacy, but I'm like, I've come this far, and it would seem kind of silly to just be like, "Oh, I'll just pay $20 or however much it is."
I've done all this. Like, why am I going to do it? But
yeah,
you know, the story is the game. Like, I feel like, especially in an MMO, and especially like your first character, like
totally,
you should make your way through it. Right?
And I do think they do a pretty good, actually, a remarkably good job of it being a tutorial, like a very slowly but effectively parsing out, like making it slightly harder. I would say if anything, it's a little too easy.
Yeah,
but I think like I was trying to imagine if you just went straight to 50. Without knowing the mechanics or having never played the game before, I think that would be at least for me, it would be a horribly intimidating and be like a huge wall of a skill wall, like a lore wall. Everything would just be like, what? It's already intimidating enough. I can't imagine just dropping in at 50. But I think if someone really hates the main story or just hates all these quests and they want to skip it, then by all means.
Yeah,
like, if you're not having fun, then skip it.
And you hear such
having
great
fun
things
still.
about Shadowbreakers too. Like people are really into
totally.
it.
And I've heard Heaven's Word too. The quest line is incredible. So I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah,
because I guess Vanilla Realm Reborn is like by far the least interesting of all of it, and it's still very interesting. So I'm definitely excited to see. I'm having a lot of fun with that.
And I will say, even as much as I complain about these quests, I like them more than the quests that came before them.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it gets better and better.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree. I'm getting like trying to get an airship.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm in the snowy area.
You play anything else?
Yeah, I played. So I've been mostly playing that. Vast majority is that. I've really enjoyed it. But I also got back into Overwatch.
Oh.
Kind of on a whim. And it's really just because the summer game started. And I hadn't played in a long time, months and months. And I kind of just dropped back in. I've been having a lot of fun. Just tanking along with D.Va.
An Ashe main like me?
Roadhog, no. Although I do like playing Ashe.
Yeah, I like playing her too.
I like playing as Junkrat. It's so fun.
Junkrat is fun.
It's just fun. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it takes any skill, but it's really fun.
I mean, there's a lot of nuance to Junkrat. I mean, there's a very easy way to play him.
Not the way I play it.
I mean, you get there. I mean, I like Overwatch a lot.
I do too. It's a great game to just pop back in because nothing really changes.
Overwatch is one of the few games I'm actually like okay at. Like, I feel like I'm so bad at most other games, and Overwatch actually like do pretty good in ranked and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say McCree's probably my best character.
Really? Yeah. I cannot play McCree, but I could totally see how someone could.
But Ashe is probably my favorite character to play.
She's fun.
Yeah. McCree and Reaper, I think, are two of my favorite
interesting
performing characters in that game. Like,
so like the DPS.
Well, I will say this: I don't know if you play competitive at all or ranked.
No.
If you do, like, for a long time, like I just was like, I got to be a good teammate. Like, that's the key to competitive, right? Is like fill where your team needs you. If you need a healer, be the healer. Like, do the things that your team requires, right? And try and be positive guy. And that does not work. That does not work at all.
Interesting.
Right? The key to competitive Overwatch, or at least climbing in competitive Overwatch, is being the best DPS on the map. Right? It does not matter what your team comp is. If you are really good at McCree, you can kill enough people that your team will win the fight.
Yeah.
Right? You will always win a 4v6. No matter what their comp is, they will not be able to stop your team if you overwhelm them with numbers.
If you kill them all.
Right? Well, that's what, so if you're a decent DPS and you can McCree and you can snap some headshots off and knock out their healer and knock out one of their DPSs.
Yeah.
Your team, more times than not, is going to take that point.
Yeah.
And that is not an influence you can have by having really good heals.
Yeah.
Or tanking a lot of damage and saving your teammates, right? If they can't get that done, someone's got to get that done on the map, And if you can't do that, like, you're not going to climb.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting point. I haven't ever played competitive, but I'm kind of interested just because I'd be curious to see how I rank, because I consider myself pretty good. Like, I almost always am on fire.
Yeah.
I almost always, usually will get a play of the game, which, in casual, who knows what that means. But I'm curious. That said, it is so chill, and I kind of really like that about it.
Yeah.
I still get angry if I lose.
Everyone gets angry. I mean, I think, it's funny, like, with all this talk about, like, game toxicity and stuff, and, I think that a game that pulls passion out of you is a good game.
Yeah, for sure.
And that means you're going to get mad sometimes. You're going to snap off every once in a while and be like, "Oh, why can't you do this?" Right?
Totally.
And if you could just do that and be like, and someone's like, "Hey, quit being stupid," and you're like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being stupid." I think that is a great way to have fun games.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the reverse side of that is when you do clutch and you barely win, that feeling of exuberance is great. And you wouldn't have that if you weren't occasionally angry when you lose.
Because there's nothing more toxic than the people in like games like League of Legends and stuff, right? Where they toxic chat is like this like, it'll get you banned so fast. Like, just saying anything, it feels like, if it's negative, will like be, or at least get you like suspended or put on like timeout, right? But people act in a way in that game like they won't say, you know what I mean? Like, they'll avoid saying their actions to avoid this chat filter thing, but will make you spend 45 minutes in a hellscape.
It's passive aggressive. It's passive aggressive.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're grumpy, if I made you mad, like, say something.
Yeah.
Let's
fix this.
Let's just let's get on.
Which again is kind of real life, right?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you rather if someone's pissed off at you to just be like, "Hey, yo, let's chat this out," versus make you live in a hellscape for 40 minutes?
Just be like, "Hey, man, I'm tilted. I feel like I'm not getting any heals," right? And you can say, "I'm trying to heal as best I can," and we can move on.
Yeah.
You can say, "I'll try and get you more heals," or you can say, "I don't want to heal you." All those answers can come out.
Or you can just say, "Fuck you."
Yeah, but this, or you can just not respond, and this animosity can just grow in this team. Into
and make sure that everyone's having a terrible
and just
time.
ruin everyone's time, right? Like, let's just get this stuff. Like, that's competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I totally agree. It's kind of being an adult too.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just having this great chat with Albert, who was on one of our earlier shows.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about like that feeling of playing in tournaments, like what that used to feel like. And actually, like, I didn't
experience that.
I didn't put it in the news, but that's the thing I actually want to talk about that I saw this week. But that feeling of like the countdown timer as a game is about to start, when you're like, it's a tournament match.
Yeah.
And just like the heightened sense of like, 3, 2, 1, you're just like, oh my God, like, this is it. Like,
totally,
20 minutes, no one talking about anything but this game. Like, let's do this. Let's do our best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that feels so good.
Totally.
Like, it's such a great feeling. And I feel like we've kind of muddling that away in so many different ways. Right. And and we're only giving that feeling to like this upper echelon of professionals, and not allowing people to kind of casually participate in that. And and it sucks. It sucks that you don't feel like anything you do like matters that much. Like these MMR systems have created this like grind progression of like skill is repeatable quality over a grind, right? It's considered being good at the game now,
versus like a
versus
defining moment.
Versus a defining moment, right? And like, I think that there's something to be said for being able to pull out a 2 out of 3 that really matters when you need it to.
Yeah.
That is so much more exciting and so much more interesting than being able to win 61% of games over 350 games in a season.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
no, for sure.
Yeah,
that's why people watch esports, and that's how they do it.
Yeah, I think it's sad we reserve it for these like select few now, right?
Yeah. One thing along those lines that I watched this dude, I forget his name. I should really write these down. But the speedrunner just broke a record in Ocarina of Time where he got under 17 minutes. And one thing I've noticed, I love speedrunning, as you know. It's so fun to watch. And this record is just insane, and he nailed it perfectly. It was almost like a tool-assisted run. Like, it was just so perfect. What I love, though, is when they're setting records, as it gets closer and closer, and they start to realize, like, because at first they're like, it's another run. Yeah. But as they get closer, they start to get, like, so intense, and you can feel it. And you can see at the end, when they finally get it, they're like, sometimes they'll be crying, and they'll always freak out, because this is probably the only time this will ever happen to them. And there is something, even though you're just watching them, it's so fucking cool you get that feeling of like, yes.
Well, it's just such this like chatty, casual nature when you watch them like starting, and then they like hit that first benchmark, like, oh, this is going pretty good.
Like, oh, this is a good run.
Yeah, it's a good run.
And then they're like, and then they'll always be like, oh, I screwed up. It's over.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, actually.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, gotta mute chat. Hold on.
Yeah. And then they're just silent. They're just like silent. They're just like,
and then they go,
ah!
It's so fun. Good. But yeah, that sense of like, and that's, people that just create it for themselves.
Yeah, that momentary intensity, though, right? That like short-term,
totally
high-intensity kind of like gameplay. Is like so exciting, right? It's that's what sports feel like to me.
Totally,
right?
Absolutely.
And
yeah, well, actually, along similar lines, and I'll get back because I do want to hear what you've been playing as well. But just because we're kind of already talking about it, I was curious what your thoughts were on like sort of general communities. Because, like I said, I haven't really had a lot of experience outside of Overwatch and now Final Fantasy, where people are pretty nice. In the beginning, when I was tanking and I had no idea what I was doing, people were not very nice. But to be fair, if they didn't know, I didn't know, and I was behaving like an idiot, there's really no way they could tell that I was just new. Mm-hmm. And a few people, when I'd say like, hey, sorry, I don't know how to tank, I'm still learning, they'd always be like, oh, okay. So people are fairly nice, but you have a lot more experience playing competitively, playing with MMOs. I was curious kind of some of your worst experiences or some of your best, and then like what games or what communities you found to be on both ends of the spectrum.
It's weird because I feel like, especially in the late 90s and early aughts, right? Is that what they call them? The early 2000s?
I think so. That's what we call them.
Yeah, that's what we call. That's what us
Tech
old timers call them. In that era, like not only was like it's funny that people think gaming has gotten so bad because gaming has gotten so friendly compared to.
I think it's just because there's more people, right?
Yeah.
Before it was a small group.
Yeah, there's exposure now to a world that I think people never saw.
Yeah. And
like it was a cesspool of toxicity, in that era of playing it. Like it wasn't like, everyone just acted as inflammatory as possible, and that was just kind of the tone of the culture at that time. And you kind of had to learn to deal and like live in that, right?
Yeah.
Like God forbid your photo ever got out in like in one of these groups, you know what I mean? Because you would just get flamed, no matter what you look like or who you could be the most handsome guy in the world.
Michael goddamn Fassbender.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Look at this fucking handsome idiot." You know what I mean? And you're like, "What?
What a fucking loser!
What are you, a bunch of fucking queer?" You know? And it's like, come on, man. But I remember
90s.
I remember for the longest time, like if you got anyone on our I played Tribes a lot, right?
You played Tribes.
Yeah,
that's
Tribes,
like the one with jetpacks.
Yeah, Tribes and Tribes 2. And anytime someone's photo got like on the forum, we would submit it to Hot or Not. And we create rankings of everyone's like ratings, right? And so we would talk shit, you'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm hotter than you," and you'd like post their ranking.
This is a very 90s thing.
Yeah, it was
to do.
so 90s. But Hot or Not was a website in the 90s. Does it still exist?
I'm sure it does.
I'm sure
it's like Newgrounds, where it exists barely.
But you would submit your photo.
It's just what it sounds like.
And people would vote if you were hot or not.
And I'd say like 90% of the time it was not.
Yeah, and you'd get a numerical score based on your hotness.
And it was always soul destroying.
Yeah, it was always soul. There was nothing.
Like you said, I think even if you were super hot, you'd still destroy your soul.
There was nothing
somehow.
positive about Hot or Not. But it was designed to make people feel bad about how they looked.
Yeah.
And so we would use it for that purpose. But and so the cultures around games then was very tough, but it was also like very supportive and very it was very community driven, right? Like I have friends from that era. I lived with people that I met through those like gaming communities. There's people right now in my life that are very important to me that came from those communities and playing those games.
Yeah,
right?
like real connections.
Like we'd have a barbecue every year where like 100 of us would all get together from Southern California and all meet and talk and chat.
And this was all Tribes?
All Tribes people, yeah.
Wow.
And we would, we'd be talking shit to each other and calling each other fags N-words and, all these terrible things. And then we'd all come to this barbecue and hug and, I haven't seen you in so long. And you know what I mean? And it's like, and then we'd all start saying these things to each other's faces. And you know what I mean? It was very real. And I mean, I recently had a friend that passed away that was part of that community. And even when he passed away, people were still flaming him, right? But
wouldn't have it any other way.
Wouldn't have it any other way. But, like I don't go to a lot of I've had other people pass away. And I have not driven down to my home and gone to their funerals. And I immediately got in my car and was like, I got to go home. I got to be a part of this. You know what I mean? Because it was this person was important to me in a time in my life where it was I needed a community and I had a very strong community there. Right? I don't know if those connections are still being made by people in these games.
Of course they are.
Well, I think there's a lack of permanence in games right now.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe the way we experience them, but like I said, I bet you now, these people in Final Fantasy that I see, I'm not interacting with them. I guarantee you there are people. It's just the way we play now.
Well, I think Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy is such a rare case, right? I think the reason Final Fantasy feels that way and is interesting that way is because it is a rare version of a game that retains what am I trying to think of? It retains these communities in servers, right? WoW has abandoned that, with multi-server, queues and, it doesn't matter where you play anymore. Your friends list is whatever.
Yeah.
Most of my WoW friends list is people from work and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not people I'm meeting through this game and developing a connection with, like a Fortnite or Apex or whatever popular game you play now. Generally, you're just fast queuing into games. And
I guess you don't spend as much time with people.
No, I remember even Counter-Strike, right? Even playing Counter-Strike, a game that was a lot like a modern shooter.
Yeah.
It
was a way ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
It was. But it was all dedicated servers, right? And so I would play on Homeland servers, right?
Yeah.
Homeland was the host for servers in LA and San Diego, right? And you would only play on those servers. And
so you'd see the same people.
So you'd see the same people, and they'd all know your name, and you'd make connections with those people because you played with them every day.
Yeah.
Right? And without dedicated servers now, you're just randomly queuing into games that you'll never see someone twice.
Yeah, especially in something like Fortnite that's so huge.
Yeah, if anything, the only way to stand out, the only way to have any kind of impact on a game is to outspend everybody and show the people in that specific game with you that you're the most peacocky person. Yeah. You know what I mean? In the game.
You spent the most money on it.
Yeah, your ability doesn't matter. Yeah. Your personality doesn't matter. Your desire to connect with people doesn't matter.
Interesting.
Right? There's no permanence to any of that.
Yeah.
So it's look at me, I'm flashy, and then boom, next game. Right? Yeah. There's no way to really create those connections, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some games where they still can. That's actually something I'd be curious to know about. Do you ever still play Tribes?
No.
Why not?
It's dead.
No, I know. I'm sure there's a way to play it though.
They've tried to revive it a couple times, by player-hosted servers,
yeah,
right?
That's what I was going to ask about.
And classic mods, but there's just no community for it anymore.
Really?
Even when they do that, those servers die out, and no one really plays it. They've tried a couple reboots of Tribes. Those have all gone terribly bad.
Yeah, I remember one. I think it was the Dreamcast or something. Mm-hmm. And I never played Tribes. I never got into it, but I remember seeing it and being like, "Huh."
And High Res made a version of Tribes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that did not go very well. And then there was another Kickstarter Tribes clone coming out, but that also didn't seem to go very well. It probably still exists, but it was a different time too. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. That's why I was kind of curious if going back to something like that. That is something I think about with Final Fantasy or any game where I'm putting a lot of time into. It's when these servers go down, where does all that go?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily care, but I do kind of... I like the idea that if I wanted to play again in 20 years, I could. But I don't know. I mean, EverQuest is still up.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the beauty of paying a monthly fee. As much as it sucks, it's that keeps servers going.
Yeah.
Right? Any other other games, single purchase games only last as long as people still buy the retail box, right? People stop buying the retail box, they stop supporting the game, servers get shut off, and
a couple of years later,
it's all gone, right?
Yeah.
Where a game where people are paying $15 a month, as long as people are still paying, they ain't turning those servers off, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's still a net positive to run those servers, they will. That's why EverQuest is still running. That's why, WoW has lasted as long as it has, right?
It kind of blows my mind to think about, like, say, EverQuest or whatever MMO that's old. Like, the idea of playing a game for 20 years is so trippy to me, not because, like, I could see it happening, but that's so cool because that's, like, a serious chunk of your life.
Yeah.
Like, when you're old as fuck, you're going to think about that, like, it's going to be huge and important, and, like, that's so cool to me.
Yeah, I know multiple people that have met their wives and husbands through World of Warcraft.
Like, that's serious shit.
Yeah, it's really serious.
I think it's totally underrated. There's a sense that, like, you're throwing your life away on this MMO, and that can happen. I think it can be detrimental to your life, and, like anything else. But I think the other side of that is it can be a serious, like, life-changing experience for the better.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Which is interesting.
It's just socially, even though games are so popular and so ubiquitous, we're still so quick to kind of demonize the act as this like this waste of time, like this child's play kind of. It's the readers out there talking shit.
Goddamn readers.
Yeah.
Well, real quick to wrap this up, and then I want to ask you.
Well, actually, one thing's still well, go ahead. I'll tell yours, but I don't want to wrap this up just yet.
Okay, fair enough. I was just going to say, if you had to say the worst community and then the best community, I know it's a big question, but if you had to choose the worst community and the best community as far as, like, shitty people.
All right, best community, I'll go first, because it's a game that I do not even like to play very much.
Oh, wow.
But Warframe was by far some of the best people I think I met through playing games. Right? I'm not close to those people. I don't have like Warframe friends.
No, that's what I mean though. Like purely from a experiential perspective.
But literally, like I hated like spy missions so much.
I know you do.
And I would be like, I hate spy missions, and I get a PM and be like, do you want me to help you? And I'd be like,
oh yeah,
okay, yeah. And they'd be like, okay, do you want to learn how to do it? And I'm like, I hate these. And he's like, I'll just do it for you. And I'd be like, okay. Yeah. And they would just run it for me. I would like, the in-game trading is a big thing, right? And I would be like, oh, I want to buy this. And, and someone would be like, okay, like, is this enough money? I'm like, I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm doing. And they'd be like, well, you can look on this site. That shows you all the prices. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd look on the site and be like, okay, that's a fair price. And I'd go and I'd be like, I don't know how to even like meet you. And they'd be like, oh, here, enjoy my group. And they'd invite me in. And they'd be like, oh, you don't really have stuff. And I'm like, no. And he'd be like, well, here's like just some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's trash to me, but you need this stuff. So here's some stuff. Totally. And that happened like every time I traded. That's cool. What I mean? Like every single time, someone would be like, here's free stuff, like stuff you didn't want to pay for. It sucks because you got to like pay to trade too. Like there's a trade fee. So I'd be like, oh, like I can't afford the trade even.
I can't even get your free shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly, I feel like it was just so rare someone would be like toxic in a game. At any time they would, the group would kick them so fast. That's cool. So fast. Like it was just crazy. Even when people were just being weird, it was really good. Worst is really hard because there's a lot of really bad ones. I'm going to kind of stick to PC because I think...
I think that's fair.
I think console, like, you get like voice chat ragers and stuff, but that's kind of different. I think Counter-Strike's probably the worst. Just because it's Counter-Strike. Like, it was a lot of people from an era that didn't know how to act right. Yeah. Right? And took everything way too seriously. A lot of people really just kind of... It was just a lot of just straight trolling all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I probably did a lot of that too. But it was a really shitty place, like all the time. And I played so much of it, but it was just so rare to have like
cool people,
so rare. But that's why when you did, it was pretty, it was neat. But yeah.
Interesting.
What about you? What are your best and worst, you think?
I think Diablo 3 has been extremely positive in that. And I never got super into it the way some people do, but I'll just be like, hey, I started a new character. Could someone run me to 70? And they'll almost immediately, someone will be like, sure. Yeah. And they don't just run you. They'll like run you, get you to 70 in like 20 minutes, give you $1 million gold, drop all kinds of shit like you said that they just don't need, and then just leave. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I just maxed out a character in 20 minutes. And, and that would happen anytime you wanted. So that's always fun. Whenever I feel like I just want to make a lot of progress in the game, I'll just start a new character in Diablo and get run, and it's immensely satisfying.
Yeah, it's always.
The worst? That's hard, man. I don't know. I haven't played a lot of competitive games. Maybe Siege, but even that's like, it's just because I suck. So that would be hard to answer, actually, just because I haven't played I never played much online.
Yeah, Dota's
actually, probably
really bad too.
Call of Duty 4, actually, Modern Warfare in college, I played a lot. People were fucking mean.
Shooters bring out the worst in people.
But again, I've never been super into it the way that you were and a lot of other people are, so that's why I was curious about your experience.
Dota was always pretty trashy too.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I mean, it's hard, like, the thing that I get and that is really hard is that, like, team competitive games create a reliance on teammates.
Totally.
And when people let you down, it's hard not to be frustrated.
Yeah, it feels bad, for sure.
Yeah. So it's when you feel like you're not in control of your own destiny, it's very easy to get frustrated.
Yeah,
really
but
fast.
I think the important thing to remember is, first of all, there's people who are just assholes. And you should, But also, I know it sounds so lame, but it's so true. Everyone fucking started somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, to expect everyone to be as good as you is absurd.
Well,
which is why there's ranking systems. And
that's what
supposedly,
I mean.
if they work right, that shouldn't be an issue.
That's why I think the frustration comes in, because it's like, oh, we should all be on equal skill levels. Is this person just like what are they doing?
Are they trolling? Are they AFK? Are they like drunk? Who knows?
Yeah, like what are they doing right now? Because they're ruining this, and it doesn't feel legitimate. Like that's what I mean.
Totally.
It's like anything. Like,
it feels like you lost not because you were a worse team.
It's like anything. Like you build this resentment, this frustration when you feel like the rules are against you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like when you're playing a game, even single player, and the camera spazzes out and you die.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. That literally was not my fault.
That's just life. In life, when you're like, I'm doing this right, why is it pushing back so hard?
I did 5 episodes of a podcast. Why am I not a millionaire?
Why am I not a millionaire, right?
But why am I not Joe Rogan?
Even other things, right? Like it's
no, for sure.
When you feel like you're following the rules and trying to, that's why young people are so mad, right? Because they were told to go to college. They were told to get
even me,
they were told to get into all this debt. Yeah. And then, they're
like, now go drive Uber for a living.
Yeah, like, no, the rules aren't working right now, so
sorry.
Figure it out. And you're just like...
Oh, you graduated during the recession? You're going to start a little behind everyone else. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. But the one thing I was going to say, like, still kind of on the same note, and what we were earlier talking about, did you see this thing about GameStop?
No, is it bad news?
It's bad news, but not... This particularly isn't. I saw this on Inside Gaming, and I didn't take it down because it wasn't a big note, but GameStop's talking about changing the stores into more like places to play games.
Interesting.
And tournament spaces.
That makes sense. Like, like slowly trying to get into esports a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, and I'll be honest.
That's smart, actually.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. Like, I really like the idea of like net cafes and PC bongs and stuff. I feel like they're too, like the ones that exist right now are too single purpose in a way, right? And very young.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'd be really weird if I went to them. You know what I mean? And like hung out, right?
Yeah.
But if there was a place where it was like more competitive and a little more ubiquitous, you know what I mean? Like if a GameStop had that kind of thing.
And that could be interesting too, just because there's so many located in different areas. So like if you're in, I don't know, an older area where there's people in their 30s or 40s, that'll be a very different crowd than in, a college area. Or like, I could see how different GameStops could attract different groups, which might be kind of cool.
And there could be a notoriety in being like, Los Angeles GameStop Call of Duty champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you won your local GameStop and then won the regional GameStop and then won the county GameStop and then the state. You know what I mean?
I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. But it kind of, we're talking about that kind of competitive thing. Like, I think that is a way to
That's a good idea.
Create that kind of emotional response in people on a local level where they get to participate in it.
Totally. And I think that would do a lot to undo the serious brand damage that they've caused by being shitty, horrible, terrible.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think just kind of welcoming people, right?
Yeah, just being chill and being like, come on in.
Come in, play games, hang out. Buy your.
I think that's a great idea. They should do that. That would be a solid rebrand.
Especially now that they're selling hardware and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It'd be a good way to be like, these all have this mouse we sell, and this all have this keyboard we sell. Like,
no, for sure.
You can win one. You can buy one. Really cool. You can win a discount. You can,
let's keep an eye on that story as it develops. More coming soon. Well, let me ask you. I know we've gone a little while, but I want to know what you've been playing.
Well, at the 42-minute mark, I will tell you that we've actually, it's probably like 39 minutes. We had some preamble before we started recording. What have I been playing? I put it all on the Google Doc.
I put it in my brain.
So. Yeah, I didn't give you access to Google Doc. That's my bad. I have been playing. So I've been playing a bunch more Apex. I'm almost to gold, which is the gold standard for ranked Apex. Okay, I like Season 2. I really do.
What do you like about it?
I like that the progression system is. There's things I don't like about it that I still have gripes with, and I still think the skins and stuff aren't that great. But I like that they give you daily progression, right? Like stuff to do. Come in, do some stuff every day. You'll progress. You'll build on your account. You'll have more. You'll have new stuff after doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like that loop to me is very gratifying, especially with the rank system in it. You're ranking up. You're getting skins. I still think the loot box system is terrible and bizarre and mean spirited in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There's a lot I think is bad, but that game also it plays good. It's fun to play.
It is fun to play,
right? And so that mixed with a reason to play it to me is very enticing.
Yeah.
I've also played a lot of Mario Maker 2.
Oh, so you got it.
I ended up buying it. I actually brought my Switch today.
Oh yeah, maybe you can show it to me later.
Yeah, I bought a grip for it too.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, I can't hold this thing in my hands. My hands hurt too much.
Yeah.
So if I had to buy one of those case grips.
Why don't you just use a controller?
For what?
To play.
Like on a TV?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
Why not?
Because I like having it handheld. I like being able to especially with Mario Maker, I like being able to work on my level while I'm waiting for Final Fantasy games to queue or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's
almost like a cell phone game.
Like a cell phone game, right? So you're just building the level, testing, building, and you're like, oh, cute, boom, and you set it down and you go and play.
Oh, that is cool.
But
that's an interesting way to play. But no, that makes sense.
It's a good game. No one plays my levels, which I assumed would be what happened.
Yeah, it's like Twitch, right? It's like...
Yeah, I'm a 0. Oh, one person played my level. He didn't like it or dislike it. So it's a middling level. I made it's like a horizontal shooter.
Oh, wow.
So you get in one of the Koopa pods.
Yeah.
You shoot fireballs out of it. And I put a bunch of Koopas on tracks and stuff and fireball cannons and stuff. And
sounds fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good level if you say so myself.
How do you find other people's levels to play?
It serves popular courses to you and new courses. I actually find it really fun to just go to new and just get a bunch of levels no one's played.
Yeah, it's like Reddit. You just I wonder what the hell's sifting around here.
And plus, I think it's exciting to try a level and be like, hey, that was cool. And you send a little comment or something and be like, that was a lot of fun or that was a cool idea. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that person sees it and was
made their day, probably.
Dope. You know what I mean? Like for sure. And a lot of times they are fun. A lot of times they're dumb.
Yeah.
But a lot of times too, it's the level's not good, but you can see that they put a lot of care into trying to execute an idea they had in their head.
Yeah.
And that's fun too, right? That's fun
that's
too.
Awesome.
The expressiveness in that game is crazy.
The what?
Expressiveness. The way you can express your kind of creativity and your kind of thoughts, through this game it's crazy some of the stuff people make. There's there's a Zelda themes level, and it's, you gotta play it. For some reason it works. It's a lot of puzzle levels. We played one yesterday and it was what's different about these 3 scenes?
Oh, wow.
So it'd be 3 groups above you, and you'd pick which pipe to go down to based on which one was different.
Huh.
If you pick the wrong one, you die. If you pick the right one, you go to the next one and pick one.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I played one that was Koopa Fight Club, right? And it was just it was spikes around a ring, and it would just drop different enemies in one at a time, and you'd have to kill them, right? Between it was a Goomba or a boss or
Yeah.
So just kind of neat ideas, which I think is really fun.
No, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
But I don't know anybody that has it, so I don't have any buddies for it.
Well, do you think I should get it? It'd be fun for us, but I just mean even on its own merits.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think playing the levels is fun. There's a lot of levels to play.
Have you done any of the single player? I know they made it's kind of just Nintendo design levels, but
yeah, they're good.
I should hope they're good.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but it's a lot of fun, interesting levels. I will say the thing about the single player levels is they seem very designed to teach you lessons.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
Of course.
To teach you how to build.
Yeah, it's a tutorial basically.
And some of them are very intense and very difficult, but they're all very themed, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of them are really trying to teach you a specific tool in each level. But it's fun. It's neat. I think there's a lot to unlock and find, and you can kind of dress up your kind of me avatar in all kinds of weird, like, piranha plant hat and, you know, like weird clothes and stuff. And so that's fun too, like unlocking all the...
That does sound fun.
Yeah.
Damn it. I wish Nintendo games went on sale.
They never go
That would be
on sale.
such a perfect game for like, it's $30? Hell yeah, I'll get it for $30.
I'd buy it for you for $30.
60 just seems like a lot.
Steep.
Not a lot for Breath of the Wild, but like a lot for Smash, which I bought and immediately was like, fuck, why did I buy this?
And a lot for this. It's a lot for this.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot for this. I think, especially if you're not like making and trading levels.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I mean, I wish they'd make a 3D version where you can make like Mario 64 levels. I would buy that immediately.
I think the simplicity of it though is very freeing in allowing you to make levels.
Yeah.
If it was a 3D version, like it's like what's the Sackboy game?
Little Big Planet,
right? Like I'd never would make something in, you know what I mean? Because there's just so much going on. There's so many like mechanics, and it's like Dreams too. Like I'll never build something in Dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like Mario, like fuck yeah, I'll make a Mario. You know, like.
Or maybe it'd be cool if I had both.
Yeah, it would be cool if I had both. I just, I think that there's something very empowering about.
No, for sure.
The simplicity of it.
I totally get it. I think mostly it's just for me. I grew up with the 3D ones more than the 2D ones, so that's like kind of what really gets my nostalgia engine running. Yeah. But still, that sounds like fun. Well, I'll have to check it out after we're done here.
Yeah, for sure. I played that. Tetris 99 had so they had a Splatoon. I don't know if you've seen it, but they do these like weekend they theme the board.
Interesting.
So they had a Splatoon one, and if you had to earn 100 points, and then you can unlock it forever.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like, it changes all the tetraminos and the backgrounds and everything.
Did you unlock it?
Yeah, I unlocked it for sure. I actually haven't unlocked any of the other ones, but this one's like, I got to get this one. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Right. And I love the Splatoon style, the pink and the green.
Oh,
and
I agree.
Black
I think Splatoon nailed it in terms of being instantly recognizable.
Yeah, it was really good.
Have you ever played Splatoon? I've never played it.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of Splatoon too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really into it for a while actually.
Cool.
It's good. It's a good game. It's limited. I think that was kind of the biggest issue I had with it. It was just fun to play multiplayer, but it's almost so small in a sense, and kind of what you can do in multiplayer that it feels like in a world where Call of Duty is a thing. It seems so strange to play something like this, especially like I get it. It's Nintendo, like it's children playing. You don't want people raging on each other, but it's hard to have like a competitive ranked mode where there's like no communication.
Yeah,
no one can talk to each other. You can't really even emote what you want people to do. It's just like, this guy's just AFK in the corner, and it's like that's just it. Yeah, like it's like whatever. Like I guess none of this really matters if that's kind of the nature of this.
Yeah. I've always wanted to try it just because I'm curious.
I love the style of it.
Yeah. No, for sure. It looks cool as hell.
Yeah, I love dressing up the Squid Kids and you get hats and you get some Jordans and like that stuff's super cool.
That is cool.
So I guess I'm trying to think if I played anything else that I didn't put on my sheet, but I don't think so.
Final Fantasy.
I played a lot of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But with that, I think I'll get to my couple little news tidbits.
Yeah, there's a couple things we probably should cover.
So I guess first, since we just talked about Splatoon, it's the last ever Splatfest.
Ooh, so that's like the tournaments?
Sort of. You pick a team. They did like Ketchup versus Mayo before, and like
funny.
Light versus Dark. So you pick a team, you play against the other team. Whoever gets the most points, you get like you get a reward. There are these, I think it's like snails or something, or like shells, or I can't remember what the currency is.
Snails, maybe.
You use it to unlock things in game.
Yeah.
And both teams get some. It's just if you're the winning team gets more.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal, but and you get like special.
The big deal is that this is it.
But the big deal is that this is it. They're done. Splatoon 2.
Enough with this fucking shit.
Splatoon 2 is dead. It's over. It's all over.
I'm so sorry.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about earlier when servers just go down. I mean, I'm sure the servers aren't going down, but
no, it'll stay up.
It's interesting to see when a company's like, and we're moving on. They're probably deep into Splatoon 3.
Yeah, Nintendo is moving on. It's been a couple of years. I think it's a little early, but I
wonder if you could see the numbers of
they got engagement.
Data.
They know.
Yeah, they know what they're doing on that front.
They know when they need to pack it in on this one, and it'll still be playable, but it's just they're not getting their investment back out of it by putting money into developing these things.
Interesting.
So, the other little piece of news I had was very Nintendo centric day today.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Switch has a new revision, and it's not the Switch Lite. It's the Switch.
Yeah. The same thing, only with a slight difference.
Let's have a little better battery life.
Yeah, it's interesting how I don't know how to feel about this, how they're basically, from what I understand, they're just kind of releasing it quietly. They're not calling it anything different. And the only way you can tell it's different is by the serial number.
Yeah, just a hardware revision.
Which is kind of an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, I don't love it because I have an old one.
Yeah.
And it also has, Switches have hardware issues.
Yeah, people are talking about them. I've never had any issues, but it's definitely like the drift thing apparently is quite rampant.
I've had quite a few issues with mine. I feel like I got Diet Coke in my throat and my voice sounds weird now.
It sounds cool.
Thanks. But so Nintendo does this. They have revisions.
They do. It's just usually they're a little bigger. Like I'm thinking like the 3DS to the new 3DS. It was pretty. They added a control pad. They added a bunch of memory. I think I don't remember, but it was like not substantial, but it was big enough that I wanted to buy one.
Yeah.
With this, it's like it's almost like a smartphone refresh. It's like okay, it's a slightly better battery. That's it.
I think the chip's a little different.
Yeah, it is. That's why the battery's better because the chip's a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But I don't. That's not. You're not going to see like frame rate increases.
No, because
it's not going to bump Breath of the Wild up to 1440.
Even the current chip is underclocked, and I assume they'll do the same because they don't want it to run better. They want it to last longer.
Yeah, which is totally. I get it. Like and very few people who buy Switches are like, God damn it! I wish I could overclock this.
Yeah. I mean, you can with homebrew, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, other consoles have done this. I know Xbox had a lot of different models when it was released, the 360.
Yeah. That's true.
The PSP and the Vita had a lot of versions.
I guess the other reason, I'm annoyed by this because I'm just a total sucker for it. I bought 3 PSPs.
Don't be a sucker.
I'm not going to buy this because it's not that interesting. If it had a better screen and a better battery and maybe a bigger screen, then I'd be like, fuck.
Yeah, if there's a Switch Pro.
I don't do handheld that much anyway, so.
I'll be honest, I'll never buy another Joy-Con. I hate them so much.
But those new colors.
I know. I hate them so much.
Those are cool colors, though.
So if they came out with a Switch that had a better version of Joy-Cons that was not Joy-Cons as I know it somehow, I might be interested in buying that. But as it is, I think Joy-Cons are a sunken cost, and I would never want to buy another one. I really hate those Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I really think, honestly, Nintendo controllers in this generation are all so bad. Even the Pro controller. It makes me very mad.
I'm sorry to hear
that. That's my beef. I love Nintendo. I love their games.
No, of course.
I think their controllers are just junk right now.
Yeah. Like we talked about last week, they've had a pretty rough couple. I mean, really, since the SNES, they've been pretty, they've always lagged a little behind.
Yeah.
I haven't had any problems with the Switch controller.
Yeah, but that's all I got for the news. The news was pretty light this week.
There wasn't a lot, was there? Everyone's talking about Shadowbringers.
Yeah, I think there's some Comic-Con announcements probably coming. I think there's a few things getting saved for this weekend.
This is kind of a random thing, but I was thinking about this today. I saw the required system specs for Control.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking so high.
Yeah, I think Remedy
they suck at that.
I feel like Quantum Break was...
I don't know. Do you think it's because they are like, what's going on? I think the recommended was an 8th gen CPU. I think it was an i5, but still it was an 8th gen, and then it was a 1080 Ti was the bare minimum for recommended. And then they're like, and if you want ray tracing, it's got to be a 2080.
Yikes!
I was like, shit, man. I mean, I have a 1080 Ti and a 7th gen CPU, so it's an i7, but technically, it's like, really, my computer can't handle it.
My 1080 is not a Ti. What am I gonna do?
Exactly. Well, it's more just like that can't be right.
What am I gonna do? I
don't know. You gotta have to play on PS4.
I'm selling my computer
like an asshole.
for free. If you need a computer, come take my trash box out of my house.
Get back to the Xbox One.
I guess I have to.
I just thought it was funny, and I think you're right about Remedy being like, everyone was sort of like, what?
Yeah.
Calm down. Like, we've seen it. It looks fucking awesome. I can't wait to play it. It's not the most beautiful game ever. Like, calm down.
I think, I don't think we're really that good at physics yet. You know, like, not making them happen. I think making them happen efficiently is, like those kinds of physics, right? That game looks like it has a lot
I see what you're saying, yeah.
A lot of environmental physics going on constantly, right? It's like when PUBG came out. I get that game was a mod and was trash, right? But even still today, like, because of the amount of physics calculations going on that map in a given time, that game is way more resource intensive than it looks like it should be.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of one of those things where it's like, no, we want to model all this stuff so it's really happening. We want it to be really real. And it's like, that's really hard to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure. I mean, I do get that's why the CPU cost is higher.
So high,
of course, because it's the physics. But even so, I was like, really, a 1080 Ti is that's very high.
Yeah, I would assume it's mostly because it wants a lot of VRAM, right? Like it's got a high, what do they call it, texture budget, you know?
Yeah.
But
I just thought it was interesting. It was like way higher than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, we'll have to see when it comes out, how it does.
I'm really excited. I mean, everything I've seen looks awesome. They've done good work.
There's 2 games right now that I'm excited about, but I'm worried they're going to be horror games.
Ooh, I love horror games.
And one of them is Control.
Yeah, it looks like it'll have a little spookiness in it.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be one of those games that's like, yeah, it's got suspense and spookiness, or you get into it and it's like, no, it's full on fucking jump scares and you know what I mean, and monster men, right? Like, which I'm
goddamn monster men again,
which I'm not excited about. And then, God, what's the other one? The one we're talking about from E3 with the girl that was all energetic, Tokyo something. What is that game called?
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show.
Tokyo?
The people that made Evil Within, their new game.
Oh, yeah. We barely talked about it.
We barely talked about it.
Yeah, it's called like Tokyo Ghosts or something.
Tokyo Ghosts.
I don't think that's what it's called.
It's something like that.
But yeah.
I'm going to look it up real quick. Fill for me, okay?
Yeah. I don't know why you don't like horror games. They're so cool.
I hate horror games.
They're so fun, man. They're so scary.
I hate them so much.
It's great to be scared. Like when you scream out loud and then you start laughing because you were so scared. It's a great feeling.
No, it's a bad... Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah. Tango game.
In fact, I think my name is actually much better for the record. Tokyo Ghost is better than Ghostwire Tokyo.
I don't know.
There, I said it.
Maybe the ghost.
Yo, Makami, reach out. I'm here.
Yo.
I know you're listening.
Remember when I said at the beginning I wasn't going to yell into the mic anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we mentioned Shinji Mikami, you have to.
I fucked up. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, that game too, I thought the trailers looked so interesting.
I mean, it does have the word ghost in it.
Well,
that implies a bit of spookiness.
Yeah, but so does
Ghost in the Shell.
Recon. Ghost in the Shell.
Fair point.
Call
of Duty Ghost.
The movie Ghost.
That has ghosts in it. It has demons and shit.
But it's not scary.
I've never seen it.
You never seen Ghost?
No.
Oh, man.
Love horror games. Don't like horror movies.
Oh, it's not a horror movie.
I'm just kidding.
It's a romance.
I don't love romance movies.
Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze are like, they have ghost sex.
No, I know. I know all about it through like the zeitgeist of culture, but
Patrick Swayze takes over Whoopi Goldberg's body for a part of the movie.
This does not sound good.
It's so good. But that game I almost am assuming is going to be too horror for me. Well,
how about this? I'll run them. I'll play them for you and let you know.
But I'm also very interested in playing it.
Yeah. Well, you can watch my Twitch stream.
Okay. I could play it if we were in like a group setting.
Yeah, we could play together. That'd be fun.
In a lit place.
Yeah. How about right here in my dungeon?
Because you can kind of like suspend the... You know, you can kind of like... You don't get so engrossed that it gets you, you know?
Yeah.
I just get too anxious. I have so much anxiety.
No, that's fair. I totally get it.
I feel it in my gut.
I'm giving a hard time. I give people a hard time a lot. I totally get it. Like for a long time, I felt like that about like roller coasters. Now I love them. But for a while, I was like, no, man, I'm anxious enough. That shit is not fun. But now I get it.
I feel like people that don't feel that have such a hard time understanding like what that is.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I don't think that monsters are going to get me.
Yeah.
I don't.
It
think
just makes you feel physically not great.
Yeah. There's just this physical manifestation of anxiety, and this is like designed to like prey on that.
Totally.
And it feels bad.
I think that makes perfect sense. And also, it's not like there's a shortage of games, and the only good games are all horror games. You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's a lot of good horror games. I love horror games, but there's plenty of other games too.
I got so much gaming to do.
Yeah,
I ain't got time for these games that hurt my tummy.
Totally.
I ain't got time for these fucking tummy hurting, spooky games.
We got fucking duties to find.
Yeah. I got
Final Fantasy.
I got guild levies that need to be levied.
However that's pronounced.
Leaves? Guild leaves?
Guild leaves? Set it off.
Guild leves?
Guild leves.
Quilide leveses all day. Okay?
Pretty sure that's what it is.
And I don't need these tummy spooks coming in here messing up my flora. Okay?
Totally fair. I get it.
All right. I gotta find some chocobo armor stats. I got stuff to do.
You got stuff to do. Well, listen, with that, we should probably wrap up. But I want everyone to know we're continuing our awesome video series.
Oh, we are. I'm excited.
I know we didn't talk about it all, but we watched another video game movie based off a very famous video game franchise.
I mean, we can tell them.
Yeah, go ahead. I was saying up for you. I was being nice.
I thought you were like keeping it a secret. I'm like, we're gonna record it in like 1 minute. We watched Assassin's Creed the movie.
Yeah, with Michael Fassbender
and
Jeremy Irons.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Jeremy
and
Irons.
Marianne Cotillard. I don't know how to pronounce her name.
I don't even know what her name is.
She was in Inception. She's cool.
She is cool. I thought she was actually good in the movie, but we watched Assassin's Creed. No spoilers.
We're gonna have an interesting conversation about it.
We're gonna have an interesting conversation about it. So check it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Or on the techyapodcast.com. You can find all these links. I'm not going to promise to have that one up on Saturday because that kind of stressed me out last week. I'll have it up by Sunday.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine too.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a fun conversation. We actually haven't discussed it at all, so it'll be our first time talking about it. So,
and I actually got one comment last week about a guy that loved the Warcraft movie and said we hated fantasy.
Nice.
And I told him I love fantasy, and I actually have a fantasy where I didn't see the Warcraft movie.
Nice. So that's the kind of wonderful response you could expect. That's a good answer.
Yeah, but actually, I don't remember your name. I told you on the comment, though. Thank you for commenting.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it or hate it, enjoy the movie or not. I appreciate the watch. I appreciate you checking in.
And I'll be curious to see, if anyone reacts to this, because I was sort of looked up afterwards, and the opinions were more one way, but there were some mixed opinions. So who knows? If you saw Assassin's Creed, really liked it, check out this YouTube video. It's coming up, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, love you guys. Go play some games.
Yep, go play some games.